Hey everybody, this is Emar Substitute, the Sports Inquirer, and we're happy to be joined by Angie, head coach of Georgia State softball. Angie, thank you for speaking with us. I know your season opener is a few days away. How's the anticipation or the excitement looking forward to another year with the Panthers?
I think they're super excited. The last week of practice has been absolutely amazing. And I think that is showing kind of where their heads are at because I am one happy coach right now on how their performance has been the past week. And it's actually exceeding my expectations. So that's a good thing. Um, and I think we definitely have put in a lot of time and work and effort as far as changing our mindsets and culture and how we approach things. And I believe it's really showing and it's pretty contagious right now.
Yeah, and how big of a factor is it being a second year or another year with the program as opposed to last year when you're just joining the team and having to implement a lot of your things?
Yeah, it's this year is way better just because, well, I had a lot of learning to do, not only do I just come in here and coach a brand new group of girls and get to know them. I mean, you got that part and you've got trying to get them to know your style and you're trying to get to know their abilities, strengths, weaknesses, all those things. But just the fact of like moving your family, uprooting your family and figuring out, school for my kids and finding a house and just getting familiar with the surroundings and all of those things. And then you throw on top of, like, you got to get familiar with Georgia State and how they do things and how paperwork is done, or just there's so much involved. So I feel like there was like a lot going on. But now that we have that year under our belt, like it's so much better. I feel at home, um, both with my surroundings, my city, my area, my family, and here at Georgia State. So now I can just really focus on my team. So um, that's really, really nice. It's so much easier.
Yeah, and how big it was also for you to have a fall camp with them and being able to get some fall competition in, whether among other teams, against other teams or among yourselves, without you, obviously you being there another year and without COVID really limitations.
Yeah, it's been nice to be able to do that this fall and really take the time. And we were able to let all of our players play this fall, which was great. Um, and playing other people is always a really good thing to really test and just see other pitchers and what other teams, how they do things, and because everybody's so different. But it was great. It was really fun this fall, and they did really well. And since then, we've practiced really hard, and I feel like we have a lot of really good things going.
Yeah, before we get to a breakdown of the players and positions, reading the season previews and looking at other aspects of the team, speed seems to be a big emphasis. I know last year they got some record-setting season for steals
Yeah.
with the program. How important is the speed game, not only with the steals, but I'm sure with other aspects on the in the circle and beyond, is speed to the to your game as a team?
Uh, for me, it's huge just because I mean, everywhere I've gone, that's kind of something that I look for, recruit. It's part of my style. I just think that you can do a whole lot with speed. Hitting can go in a slump, right? Speed does not. Like you got that. You've always got that to fall back on. And um, I like to create havoc, and I feel like that's what we have done, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Um, and put a lot of pressure on the defense and the catcher, and the pitcher to know that, once we get on, we're go time. So I do feel like it adds a lot of pressure to the opponent. Um, and again, it also goes hand in hand with the style and philosophy we want to create overall as a program. And that's, we're going to be aggressive. Like we're going to come and we're going to keep coming, no matter what it is. And we're going to work at everything we do.
Does it serve as an equalizer too for maybe some deficiencies in other aspects of the
Yes.
game? Speedy can steal a base, advance a runner. Is
Yeah.
that a way to take gain advantage in that aspect too?
100%. We did not hit well last year, so we had to run. we had to run. That was our way of producing runs. Of course, in a dream world, I want to be able to do both, and not feel like we necessarily have to run all the time to get to the next base. And that's what we're working toward.
Yeah, and you mentioned the recruiting. Had a large class, at least 7 or 8, I believe, and I don't know how many have made it through this semester and are going to play or redshirt. But that's a pretty large class. How do you see them contributing this year? This incoming class uh, and gain some playing time this year as a unit.
Well, actually, our incoming class was very small. We had 3 freshmen.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
Yes.
newcomers. I
So
guess newcomers is a new term. I guess I should say maybe
yeah,
in this
we,
era. But
we were able to pick up Chloe Nadler as a newcomer transfer.
yep.
So there's a fourth, and then we picked up um, Kate, a pitcher, mid-year in January. We literally just got her from Chat State. So our 3 freshmen are great. They're awesome. Kate's been great in the circle for us. She adds to our staff. She's very different than the others, so that's been great to have her. And Chloe Nadler, the transfer that we got in, I will say this about her: this kid is she's going to be something to watch.
Yeah.
She's good. She had speed. She has power. She's athletic. She gets after it. I'm super excited about her.
Yeah, and I should have said newcomers and not freshmen, but
No,
because
it's
no, in this new era, and I said you're a veteran in the coaching game, not only here at Georgia State but other places. How have you been able to navigate this new, I guess, transfer portal era? Because so much player turnover is taking place over the past few years.
yeah. Yeah, I don't yeah, I don't know. The portal is crazy. I get why it's there. I get there's certain reasons where I think it's amazing and it's good. But yes, it does cause a lot of I don't know what to call it, uncertainty in many different ways. But we're in the portal, no doubt. As a staff, I will say I don't depend on the portal. I'm not hardcore in the portal all the time. Because you just don't know. Like you just don't know. Like if I go in there, yep, I'll send emails. Yep, I'll contact some kids. But guess what? So is probably like 75 other coaches.
Right.
So that's really difficult. I like to kind of court more so, I guess, and get to know somebody better. I feel like the portal doesn't really allow that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know. Will I ever really go into the portal hardcore? I don't know. Right now, I like old school.
And
And
player
I like,
development from a younger
yeah,
age.
yeah, and the relationships, like establishing that relationship, making sure this kid's a right fit, and like courting them for a year or two, and getting to know them and their families. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah. Well, you do have some players returning from that performed well for you last year. We'll start with the infielders. Bailey Richardson looks like she is back along with some others. What about that infield unit and what you've seen from those players?
So our infield's going to look brand new. Bailey, although she's returning, right now we've got her at second base, which she's always been
Okay.
at third, and she looks
Yeah.
amazing there. It's gonna be a great move. She's become comfortable with it, and she's just gonna get more comfortable as time goes. And so we see that as a huge positive for us. Jackie Gonzalez, who was at second last year, is now at the shortstop position, and she's really very comfortable. She was a transfer from Hampton. She played for me at Hampton her freshman year, and she was my starting shortstop there. And last year, she didn't play at Hampton for 2 years. So didn't really play softball for almost 2 years. Comes here, and she was at second and wasn't the same kid for a lot of different reasons. And it feels way more comfortable this year. And just she's back to that kid that we know, and taking charge and being a leader. And more vocal. So we're super excited about her at short. Chloe Nadler, that kid that I was speaking of, that she'll be at third, and I think she's going to do great there. And then we have a freshman, Mia Mumfield, who is a stellar defensive first baseman. She does not play like a freshman, and so her leadership, her IQ, her athleticism at first base, we're super excited for her.
Yeah, and then you're very excited.
We got Dee Dee still behind the plate. So Dee Dee is our steady Eddie behind the plate. Our big 6'1" teddy bear back there. So
yeah, I was gonna say Caroline is back at a catcher for you. But what your outfield as well? Chloe Middlebrooks looks like she's back. Emily Brown as well. What about that unit and just their development and what we've seen from them this offseason?
Well, Emily Brown is playing better than I've ever seen her. She is having fun. She's enjoying herself. She just looks very confident in what she's doing. So she is our leader out there. And we have a ton of confidence in her and her ability. And we're really excited about her. I mean, not defensively, we know what she's going to do, but I feel like this is going to be a great year for her offensively. And then Middlebrooks, we, again, locked down on defense, did such a great job last year. And we moved her from the right side to the left side. So she'll be batting left-handed for the first time this spring. So I think that's going to add to her offensive threat. She was she was second in stolen bases last year, batting from the right side and really truly not hitting. She got on because she got hit by a pitch. She led the league, and I don't know if she led the nation or was pretty close to leading the nation.
Okay.
So now moving her to the left side, we're hoping that will really, really add to her on base percentage, which will lead to more stolen bases, which will lead to more runs scored. So,
has she ever batted left-handed before this year?
Nope. In practice.
How does that work? I must have maybe I'm not naive to the process, but I don't think I've heard of a player just switching, at least at this stage of their career, an entire batting field from righty to lefty or left to right. What led to that decision, and how has that been going?
Well, when I look at her and her IQ level, right, she really understands the game. Okay, and then I think of her. I look at her speed, and I'm like, okay, and then I was like, let me have a conversation with her because she's a black and white kid. Like I can say something, she doesn't take it offensively, like she gets it. She likes to be told the truth. And I said, hey, look, we're not so good right-handed. Like we're just not good. So I feel like, why not? Like, are you up for it? Like that's the main thing, right? If you're up for it. And she said, let's try it. So I put her over there and I'm like, look, I just want bat to ball right now. We're not swinging. Like we're just putting a ball in play. Let me see your eye. And she gets in there and she's literally like, boom, boom, boom all day. Right. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we can do this. Let's start simple. Let's keep it simple. Let's just touch and go. Let's put the ball in play, make them work. And that is what we're doing. And we're working toward ultimately getting to where she can power slap, where she can swing away. But right now, this season is going to be touch and go. And she's doing a great job. She sees the ball way better. Her discipline is way better. And she feels way more confident. So, and that's the key, 100% is if you believe in what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see how that happens or develops throughout the year. But we got to talk about the circle as well. You mentioned you're bringing in some new pitchers. I think Haley Adams is back. What about that unit? Because you do lose some pitchers from last year as well. But what about the pitching squad or pitching section or pitching team in general?
Yeah. Well, the staff is just that.
Staff. Yeah. That's the word I'm trying to remember. The pitching staff. Yeah. Yes. Go right ahead.
They're just that. They're a staff, and they get that. And I think that's the positive to them is they understand that they all four have to rely on one another. We don't have like this one that is truly like a dominant ace. They're very complementary to one another. And it's going to be a pitch by committee type thing. And I think that's the cool thing right now is they are working as a unit. Um, and so that's going to be our approach. That's going to be our game plan is we're going to go with who we think is best. And then everybody else has got to be ready to help and finish the game. And so that's our approach. That's our mindset. And they get and understand that.
Yeah, and we'll wrap up. You're heading down to FIU to Miami to start the season. How big are these non-conference tournaments or these first few weeks of the season for getting all four pitchers some pitching time? You mentioned a lot of position changes. And I mean, I know they're talented, but that is still in regular season play or in-game action. That is different. How important are these first few weeks? Obviously, want to win every contest, but just getting these everyone established in their roles for the back half of the year, especially in conference.
Yeah. I think we preach this all day long, right? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And as long as we are understanding and using all of this preseason to work out kinks, to continue to support one another, and to learn from our mistakes and grow from them and just attack every single game as just that, like one game at a time, one pitch at a time, one inning at a time. Um, and grow from those moments. I think that's the ultimate goal. And the wins and losses really aren't necessarily, something that we're preaching or looking at. Of course, I want to win. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure we're working together, supporting one another, and understanding that we as a unit, we as a family, are going to, come together and continue to support and fight throughout the season. And that's my main goal for these guys.
Well, Angie, good luck this season. We'll talk later on in the year, but safe travels to Florida this weekend, and we'll catch up later on in the year and see how the Panthers are doing.
For sure. Thank you. I do have a question for you.